Hello and welcome back to Ready Steady Play. I'm here with Barry and Danny, who you might recognize from Mystic Vale, and you're going to recognize from Guilds of London. Have you guys done anything else?
No, that's all we've been on film for.
Great, good. Well, we're going to do something else now. We're going to play Arkham Horror, the card game, which is a new release from Fantasy Flight Games.
Yep, one of their LCGs, living card game model. Basically means every month you're going to have to give them more money to continue enjoying new elements of the game.
Right, so you could take a cynical view of it, or you could say that they're updating you with new gameplay every month.
Whatever way you want to look at it. It's DLC, apart from you have to go to the shop to get your DLC.
Right, well, it's not downloadable content then, is it? It's like walk-inable content.
Yeah, walk-inable content. We're going to coin that, that's going to be the next one. FFG, no royalties necessary.
You can have that for free, FFG.
Yep. Now it's worth noting that Arkham Horror is a cooperative game as opposed to the competitive LCGs that they put out. Today we're going to play through the first scenario of the campaign that comes in the base set. And if you want to come into this game fresh and on your own, then there may be spoilers ahead. Okay, our choices might not be the same as your choices. Other things may happen.
So this is a story-driven Cthulhu-based game.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's quite new, isn't it?
Yeah, it only came out on Wednesday here. I got it Friday, already played it a dozen times. But why not play it again? For reference, I've played this first scenario maybe 5 times already now. We're playing it again. I don't feel it spoils anything by knowing kind of some of the cards that are coming up, because your games will be different.
So, because there's a campaign in the core set here. The campaign is 3 scenarios. Then they're going to bring out a deluxe expansion that starts off another campaign with 3 more scenarios, and then you'll get a chapter pack every month with another scenario in it.
Mythos packs.
Mythos packs.
Well, the Call of Cthulhu original card game was Asylum packs, and then chapter packs or Thrones, data packs. Very important you get them right. You don't want to buy the wrong thing.
Yeah, you don't want to buy a data pack for your Arkham Horror game. That wouldn't be very good.
Yeah. So,
So there's going to be plenty more content rolling out, but we're only going to play through 1 scenario for this video.
Like I say, I don't think you're going to lose anything by watching us play this if you want to play it yourself, but just be aware there are story elements that you can only learn once.
Absolutely. Yeah, so there will be some mild spoilers, so maybe if you're interested, go away and play it first and come back and see how we did, or check it out here, because there's going to be plenty more scenarios coming out, which we won't spoil unless, you really like this series and ask us to.
Yeah, do the rest.
But, so I'm going to be the lead investigator, which is great, because as Barry said, he's played it 5 times now, this scenario.
Yeah.
Danny, you've played it?
I've played it twice.
You've played it twice. I've never even played this game before.
Yeah.
So, these guys are the LCG veterans. I'm something of an LCG noob. I keep buying them and I never play them, so... this is going to go well.
I guess to that
Naturally,
end,
I should be in charge.
I better explain how the game works then, Mike, since you've no real clue.
I have no idea. That's why I'm on YouTube making a video.
So, there are 5 investigators in the core set. Each pack's going to come out with a new investigator, generally. These characters are from the Cthulhu, the FFG Cthulhu mythos. So you maybe recognise them from Elder Sign, from Eldritch Horror, from Arkham Horror, or the previous LCG, which was the competitive one. But you have your own character here, which if we can sort of focus in on there. No, I can't do it right. There we go. And along the top, you'll get 4 stats, numbers between 1 and 5. The first one, I can't remember what the actual names are. It says on there. So your first stat is willpower. Your second stat is intellect. Your third stat is combat, and your 4th stat is agility. And those are going to come into play whenever you're doing any sort of tests throughout the game. This is the sort of the core stats that you have. Everybody's got slightly different stats here. Here's Daisy Walker. She's really good with intellect. She's got 5 base stat there, but not so good at fighting or evading. And Dan's playing Agnes Baker, and she's really good. She's smart, so she's got good willpower, but the rest of her stats not as good. Mine's are more middle of the road for most things. Then you've got your deck of cards. So there's 30 cards in here, plus 3 cards that are based on, or 2 cards that are based on your character, and 1 random card that we're going to come on to. These cards consist of things that you can play. So if you look in the top left, that is the amount of resources it's going to cost to play this card. This is an event, so one-time use, tells you on the card when you can play it. You'll also have assets, that's a different type of card. Again, the cost in the top left is what it costs to play it, but assets remain in play in front of you and are help you evolve your character. You'll also see down the side, if I can somewhat point to these here, little symbols that match the symbols along the top of your character card. These give you bonuses to skill checks. So a generic skill check that you might perform is an investigation. This will help you find clues. To find the clue, you'll do a skill check versus your intellect, which is your book symbol in here. And I've got a base number of 3. If the target number, which is determined by the card or the check that you're doing, was 3, then I may want to discard another book in order to get +1 bonus to the skill check. It's not as simple as just beating the target number, because in here are a whole bunch of tokens.
So does that baggie come with the game?
This baggie does not come with the game. This is from a different game that I can't pronounce. Jill Neef, something like that. There's no bag in the game.
Baggie not included.
Massive oversight from them. But you can use a bowl, you can use a cup, whatever. I just like the feeling of...
Everybody likes a good bag.
And in here, there are a bunch of tokens. So the first one I pulled out is a +1. Don't get used to that, it's not going to happen, right? Most of the things in here are negatives.
Why'd you waste it now, Barry?
For example, there, a -4, right? So your stat number minus, or modified by whatever you pull from the bag, then if your target number is equal to or higher, if your number is equal to or higher your target number, you succeed on that check. And that's how all checks kind of go down, right? So whether it's a combat check, whether it's a...
so it's your base stat plus your bonus cards adjusted by the modifier.
Correct, yeah. There's also other things in here. This symbol is an auto-fail, right? So
of course there's an auto-fail.
We also have the skull and the tombstone and the cultist, if I can find one.
So the skull's like auto-win, right?
No, unfortunately not. Very few auto-win tokens in here. But these are based on the scenario itself. So each scenario, these tokens are going to represent something different. It's a great way of having, like, being able to modify a campaign or a story based on, without like custom dice or having to do anything like that. You modify the different tokens that go in here or what those tokens do, and you can have a whole different game almost. And the last one is the Elder Sign itself. And the Elder Sign...
now that's got to be good.
Yes, so that's a bonus that's based on your character effect. For example, this one gives me +2. You get to draw a card for each tome you control. And you're...
I get +1 for each horror I've taken.
Yeah, and you're going to be taking a lot of horror.
Yes.
And so these all go in here.
But you're a waitress. Why would you take all the horror?
I'm a magic waitress.
Oh, magic waitress. Nice.
So the tokens that go in here are determined by the difficulty, which is presented at the start of the campaign. Already put them in here so we don't have to waste too much time. There are cards that are specifically just for these sort of skill checks, and they have skill in the top left. And you'll see they've got different icons. This one, for example, is 2 question marks. That's wild cards, so they can be anything. They don't have to be a certain symbol. So even though this one has 2 symbols on it, it's very unlikely that you're going to be making a skill check against both symbols at the same time. Ordinarily, you'll just be discarding it for the 1.
So mine here, that has 2 of the same symbol.
Yep, so that'll give you +2.
Oh, okay.
To that check.
So I'm really, really good at knowing things and quite bad at everything else.
Yeah. You're in charge of investigating.
Right, and that's about it.
Yeah. The final cards that go into your deck are weaknesses. Now each character has a signature weakness.
Thematically, I really like these cards. I think they're neat.
Yeah, it's quite clever. It means it's not just lots of good stuff in your deck. At some point, there's a risk you're going to pull something out that's going to drive you mad. It's going to reflect your sort of sanity or your state of mind when you're actually doing all these sort of explorations. This one is a character that's not in play's weakness. And it has a revelation effect. This will be important for you. If you ever pull a card with a revelation effect, you immediately have to do what it says on the revelation. Okay? So it's mostly for weaknesses that this happens. And this is a signature one. That goes with Roland. However, there are 10 random weaknesses. And we're about to put one of those into our decks now.
So, Barry, there is a deck building element as well, isn't there?
There is. The there's not a lot of deck building out of the core set. Each character is kind of somewhat locked into just 2 different factions. During the first cycle of cards, they're going to be locked into a single faction. So on the back it tells you what cards you can take. They're only going to be able to take from a single alignment wheel. So rogue cards, guardian cards, mythic cards, and such like. Here is a random weakness that we're going to add to our deck.
Do we get to look at it?
Yeah, you might as well. And then just shuffle that in. Enjoy.
I have amnesia.
Amnesia is the worst. I played that with that for most of the game. When you've got 8 cards in your hand and you draw that and you have to discard them all, makes things sad.
Oh. So the game plays with, well, at least 3 players, right?
Yeah, so out of a single core, you're going to get up to 2 players. There's not enough cards for more than 2 players.
Does that mean you bought 2 cores, Barry?
Yes, when you have 2 cores, you can have up to 4 players. There's not quite enough cards for 5. There's 144 player cards. You need 150 for 5 players.
Well, that was a bit of an oversight.
They could,
Surely if they'd put 6 more in, then
yeah,
3 players in the core.
So it goes. And so
That's
that's
why
kind
you're
of
going
it.
to buy 3 cores if you want 5 players. So,
Yeah. Make money. That's FFG's motto. The very last thing, and something that you may see, we're playing with some of the advanced cards that cost XP to buy. Because this is a one-off scenario and not part of the campaign, you can have up to 9 points of bonus cards in your deck. And these are signified by those white dots that you see in the top left under the cost. If you go above 9 points, you have to add another random weakness, and you can actually pimp your deck out fully for just a single scenario, but you'll end up with a lot more weakness cards, so it's going to mitigate. You can't just have the good cards. You're going to have to take some sort of basic cards, and then focus your deck on what you want it to do. So that's kind of it for the
I suppose
deck.
if you wanted to play like
Right.
super easy mode, you could just put them all in and no take no weaknesses.
Yeah, I mean, bear in mind this is just a game. It's not competitive. You're working with people. If you're struggling with anything, if you're not finding it fun because it's too difficult or whatever, you can make a number of adjustments to make the game easier for yourself. Including, we're playing on standard mode, but there is easy mode tokens. So you put in more positives, so you get more successes. And then on expert mode, there's like a -8 token and stuff.
Wait a minute, we're playing on normal?
We're playing standard, yeah.
We're playing standard. See, I thought we were experts, Barry.
There's not a chance that you'll be able to do this on expert.
Okay.
And that's not a slight against you, Mike. That is just, in general, we don't have the card pool yet to really nail it on expert.
Right, so that's maybe like preparation for future mythos.
Yeah.
Those packs.
Yeah. The Lord of the Rings, for example, came out with the first couple of cycles, and then they realised that when you've got a much broader card pool, those scenarios became quite easy. And then they started releasing nightmare packs, which were additionally difficult cards to add back into your old adventures. Here it's kind of built in from the core. You can modify the difficulty yourself. It doesn't need more cards to come in and do it. But there's also that option. So quite a lot of value from this. You're going to be coming back and playing this scenario even end of the first cycle, end of the second cycle. You can come back and it will still be as challenging as it was kind of the first time for you. Now, in terms of what you can do on a turn, Mike, you've got 3 actions on your turn.
Cool.
You can do any one of these. You can draw a card, take a card into your hand, simple as that. If it is your weakness and it says Revelation, sucks to be you.
What's my maximum hand size?
8.
8.
If you ever at 8 at the end of your turn, you have to discard them.
Is 8 a significant number in Cthulhu?
I don't believe so. I think it's just, otherwise you could just draw through your whole deck and just have them all ready.
And what happens if I do get through my deck?
If you do get through your deck, you're going to take 1 horror and just shuffle them back in. So it's not a massive problem. It does affect you a little in terms of your stats. Or that was one thing on the cards I didn't perhaps mention. Those bottom numbers are your health and sanity. If you take horror equal to your sanity, you go nuts. If you take damage equal to your health, you die.
Right, so horror is like basically hit points for sanity.
Yep.
Or damage for sanity, whatever.
Correct. The other actions you can take are to take a resource. Now, if you remember, the cards have a cost, and this is what you use to pay for those.
Right.
You're going to start with 5 if you want to grab 5 from there, and Dan, you can do the same.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Then you can play a card from your hand. That's an action. If it says fast, right, that doesn't take an action. Fast cards can be played, or fast abilities can be played without using up one of your 3 actions for that turn. You can activate an ability on the card, so if we go back to some of these assets here, can't find any. Flashlight, for example, that lets you take an action, the arrow, take an action, spend a supply from there, and it's easier to investigate. You've got a flashlight, you can find clues better. Makes sense, right? You can move to the adjoining location. Now, we've also got these little cards here, which are our characters represented on the board. Now, the board at the moment only consists of a study for the setup, so we're all in the study. But as the game progresses, further locations are going to be available, and then we can physically move our piece to one of those other rooms to explore it, or to see what's in it at least. Then investigating a location, generally that's to help you find clues. Clues are very important generally for progressing the story. You'll see as we play that that's kind of what progresses the story. And finally, you can fight or engage an enemy or attempt to escape from an enemy. There's a few other bits and pieces, but if they come up, we'll go with them then. Otherwise, the round order is going to be, we're going to do our actions, the enemies are going to do their actions, bit of upkeep, and then the story's going to progress inexorably. What's the word I'm after?
Inexorably.
Inexorably towards its conclusion.
So the story progresses whether we're keeping up or not.
Correct. Yeah. So there's two decks almost here, quest decks. One is the Act deck, and this is the one that we want to try and complete. The second is the Agenda deck, which the game is going to keep marching on, and if we don't complete the acts, the agendas are generally much worse for us.
Right.
So we have to complete this before this is run out. Generally. There are things, maybe like the agenda deck will run out. You've got different resolutions. So we might get a good resolution if you do this. You might get a bad resolution if the agendas goes out. Or alternatively, we might be able to run away at some point. You'll get a different resolution. Or we might die. You'll get a different resolution.
So we if we die, we lose.
Yes. Yeah. There's very few ways of dying and it being a good result.
Is that the only way we can lose?
Or whatever the cards say.
So the cards might just come up and be like, "Oh, this is the final one. You've lost."
Correct. Yeah, if you've not done it by this time, flip it over and back
Too
things
slow. Cthulhu devours the world.
Correct. So you got 5 cards starting hand. If you draw your weakness here, just discard it, take a replacement, shuffle it back in. And you also get a partial mulligan.
I've got both my weaknesses.
So put both of those to the side, draw 2 replacements. Then, you've got a partial mulligan, so you can discard any number of cards and draw back up before shuffling back in. Excuse me.
So, I don't know if any of this is any good, so I might just hang on to it.
So what I would suggest you're looking for are maybe cards with lots of icons, maybe some assets you can put into play. For example, I've got a 40.41 Derringer, which is a gun. There's going to be enemies coming out, so I'll be able to put that into play and I'll get bonuses to my combat.
Do I shuffle these back in now?
Yep, shuffle those back in. I'm going to get rid of this one, and I'll take a replacement, and then shuffle that back in. And then we are ready to begin the story. Are you prepared?
How do we win, Barry?
The game will tell us.
Okay.